I started this from Fort Hancock and I drove up to Fabens, and then from Fabens it was 25 miles, something like that, to the Antelope tanks. Antelope tanks is the red mark on the map. Fort Hancock is about an hour drive from where I live, and so I was taking advantage of already being there. A few days a week I work a half day in the mornings, so this gave me an opportunity to drive up and check out the property without driving all the way from home. I live about an hour drive from Fort Hancock. There's the first video that's going to be coming up shows some of the road right off of the pavement, and then we get into what I can best describe as a bunch of Jeep trails. These roads do not appear to have ever been maintained. They were cleared once, and then what happens, and I got the same problem on my area, when it rains, the water just runs down the road and carves these big trenches, and you really would have to watch out. You'd be driving along 20, 30 miles an hour and all of a sudden just slam on the brakes because a huge hole would appear in front of you or half the road would be missing. I don't think I got a picture, but one thing I thought was interesting is at some point, whoever made the roads went along beside the road and made a second road because the first road just got too messed up, and so they would just make another road 15 feet to the left or to the right. I included a couple shots of my truck just to give you an idea. If you do decide to go out there, take something bigger than a rental car. This is your typical Z71 Chevy truck with off-road tires. It's not lifted or anything like that, but one of the things I was concerned about was things like the bushes sticking up, and parts of the road were worn down enough so that the center of the road was sticking up quite a bit, and I was concerned that I would get something snagged under the truck. I had no cell phone coverage the whole time I was out there, and the one thought I kept thinking is it's going to be a $500 tow if I can get a truck to even come out here. So I had to be really careful not to drive in a hole or get something broken. Towards the center of the frame, kind of the left side of the road, that's about 1.5 feet deep. It doesn't show up very well because of the cloudy. The sky was really cloudy that day, but it's considerable drop on parts of this road. So I'd be picking along. There was times where I was going 2 and 3 miles an hour out there, just trying not to fall in a hole and driving around obstacles and everything. I mentioned on the video clip later, when I first thought about going up here, I really planned on taking my motorcycle. But it's gotten to the point now the motorcycle is about worn out, so I'm not going to ride it anywhere anytime soon because it keeps breaking down, and I didn't want to get way out in the middle of nowhere and have it break down on me. So another shot of the truck. This gives you an idea how wide the road is in some places. It's just wide enough to drive. If you the tricky bit is the road isn't wide enough that if you have a major obstacle, you can't just drive around it. You don't have enough road to really choose where you want to go. All right, this is kind of a reference shot. We're on San Felipe Avenue, Pipeline Road. About the end of the pavement, the first 10 miles out of Fabens, we had paved road. Then it gets to be like this. Open range. Was a bunch of cattle back there. Typical looking desert out here. All right, we're starting looking north. I'm within, I think, about 2 miles of Antelope tanks. The road ahead is washed out. There's another road there. It's been storming all day. There's snow in some spots on the ground. I'm kind of concerned about running out of daylight. I think I could get up there, but it's pretty cold today, and I don't have a lot of time and a lot of options right now, so I'm going to work my way back out of here. But it's probably still a couple miles that way, from what I can tell. A little sketchy on the GPS. I'm going to do a couple pictures so that I can get a GPS coordinate of where I was at. So, okay, this is south, or I mean, this is north. It's windy. East. That way south. So that'd be west. And back to the north again. As far as what the ground looks like up here, there has been a lot of roads cut, but they're not maintained out here. Typical cactus. A lot of this is similar to my property. Odds and ends, just strewn about. You know, just happened to stop. I had to turn around here, but you know, trash or metal or debris or something here. It's not a bad truck for this kind of a day. There's a few spots where I didn't want to get stuck. I was kind of looking at running out of ground clearance. And I've had flat tires from thorns before, so that's never a good day. Anyway, I'm going to call it. I got to get back out of here. I've been driving off-road for, over an hour already. Get back inside where it's a little bit warmer. That's what the road looks like, though. Yeah, I don't know. It's a few of these roads that I'm driving on like this don't show up on GPS at all, and yet they've got road signs. I'm going to get a couple road signs on the way out, see if we can cross that to anything else. I came in from Fabens. It's also possible that you could come in from the north side. But I work in Fort Hancock, and so that was closer from work. So now I'm going to work my way back out to, I got to go into El Paso this afternoon still, so. Anyway, tried. I was hoping to use the motorcycle on this one, but the bike is broken down, so this would have been a lot more fun on the motorcycle. Also, yeah, it snowed this morning. It's probably, I don't know, 35, 40 degrees. It's cold outside. Kind of don't want to push it on a day like today. Okay, this is picking up a couple of shots from the same location that I shot the last video in. This is facing south again. At this point, I've decided I didn't feel comfortable staying up there any longer. It had snowed earlier that day. I realize now that I didn't get any pictures, but there was some spots where the shadows were, that the snow was sticking to the ground still. It was pretty cold. First time it had snowed this year, that I could tell. But between being later in the day and, it gets dark early in the winter, I definitely did not want to be out here in the dark, just from a point of view of getting lost up there. I had no cell phone coverage. My GPS on my phone was really sketchy. The other thing I kind of mentioned on the video, the GPS doesn't show most of these roads that I was driving on. And I was looking before I went out on Google Maps and Google Earth, and what I realized after going out there is what appeared to be roads is actually pipeline access. I'm not sure what the pipelines are, if it's natural gas or oil or what they're doing, but there is pipeline roads going all over out there. And there's some areas that you can't drive on, but it looks like a road from the satellite view. You look at it, and so on your map, on your GPS, it would show a line. And then when you got out there, that line was actually a washout area where maybe it had been a road at one time and then the water runs down it and then the road just is basically gone. So it's, I had a hard time navigating out there because every time I thought I knew which way I was going, the road would go off in a completely different way and I'd look at my phone and it wouldn't show the road I was driving on. Um, it might be worth your time talking to the land developers and see if you can get recent maps of the area because there is roads like every mile or more and they have signs and everything like that, but they aren't showing up on the GPS. It was very strange. So there is people that live out there. I saw a lot of motorhomes and trailers. There is a few houses, so the roads are passable, but I would not want to be out there after a rain. It's going to be kind of sketchy, so keep that in mind if you ever decide to go out there. This was the last screenshot that I got before I turned around, or where I turned around. So lower left side, the blue dot is my location. The center red dot is Antelope tanks, and then the four marks clustered at the top right are the four corners of your property. So use that for a scale. I think I was probably at least 2 miles from Antelope tank based on that. Uh, since I didn't have cell phone coverage, my phone wouldn't update the image very well. But if you see the faint outlines next to my blue dot, I assume that to be roads, but quite often that I was driving, it didn't have me on any of the road markers that were visible. I've been thinking about this since I got back after looking at the videos again, and I don't think I want to go out there anymore. My situation right now, I'm not making a lot of money. The truck has over 200,000 miles, and it's the last running vehicle I have, and I really can't afford to get it tore up driving around on some Jeep trails out there. I did this as much as anything. I just wanted to help you out, but I don't want to take any money for it, and it's not worth my time going out there anymore. So this gives you an idea what the countryside looks like. I know I came up short. Anyway, sorry if I got your hopes up, but I'm not going to be able to go out there anymore. So enjoy the video for what it is, and no charge. Happy New Year.